Right now, quietly and without headlines, artificial intelligence is eliminating the exact kind of jobs that built the middle class. Not factory jobs, not minimum wage work. We're talking about accounting, legal research, medical imaging, financial analysis, the careers people spent decades and hundreds of thousands of dollars training for. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly which income streams are already dead, which ones are untouchable, and the 5 specific ways people will build wealth in the decade ahead. Here is what makes this moment different from every previous technological disruption in history. When machines replaced physical labor, people moved up. They became supervisors, technicians, managers. The cognitive layer was safe. But AI does not replace your hands, it replaces your thinking. And for the first time, the jobs that required the most education, the ones that paid the most, are disappearing faster than the jobs that require a human to physically show up. That ladder people were told to climb just had its top rungs removed. Think about someone who did everything right, went to university, got the degree, landed the stable job at a bank or an insurance firm or a law office. They built their identity around that role. Then one morning, their company announces it is deploying an AI system that handles 60% of the work their department does. They are not fired immediately. They are just quietly not replaced when colleagues leave. The team shrinks, the budget disappears, and they realize the career they spent their entire 20s building is being phased out like a discontinued product. The advice most people receive at this point is to learn new skills, take a course, update the resume, learn to use AI tools yourself so you can stay relevant. And it sounds reasonable, but here is what nobody tells you. Reskilling into another profession that sits inside the same vulnerable category just resets the clock. You are not escaping the problem, you are running toward another version of it. Trading one AI replaceable role for a slightly newer AI replaceable role is not a strategy. It is postponing the exact same reckoning by 3 to 5 years. There is a reason this keeps happening that almost nobody in mainstream financial media is willing to say out loud. The problem is not which specific job you have. The problem is the entire model of trading time for a salary inside a system that can increasingly automate the thinking your salary was built on. Every decade, that system extracts more value and shares less of it with the people doing the work. The solution is not to find a better position inside that system. The solution is to understand how wealth actually flows in an AI-accelerated economy and position yourself accordingly. Here is the core mechanism. AI does not just automate tasks, it commoditizes expertise. When knowledge that used to require years of training can be accessed instantly by anyone with a prompt, the economic premium attached to that knowledge collapses. A paralegal charging $60 an hour to research case law competes directly with a language model that does the same research in 4 seconds for fractions of a cent. The same dynamic is hitting accountants, radiologists, financial advisors, and copywriters. Expertise alone is no longer a moat. The moat now belongs to people who own the systems, the audiences, or the relationships that AI cannot replicate. Look at what the wealthiest people in the world have been doing for the past 5 years. They are not trying to outskill AI. They are buying stakes in companies that build and deploy AI. They are acquiring assets that generate income regardless of who or what does the labor. They are building audiences and communities that trust them personally, something no algorithm can replicate at the relationship level. The behavioral gap between people who are preparing correctly and those who are not has never been wider. One group is still optimizing their resume, the other group is building ownership. A McKinsey report from 2024 estimated that up to 30% of work hours in the United States could be automated by 2030. The World Economic Forum projects that 85 million jobs will be displaced by AI within this decade. But here is the contrast that does not get reported alongside those numbers. During the same period, the number of people generating income through owned digital assets, content platforms, fractional investing, and small business ownership has grown by over 40%. The people falling behind are not less intelligent. They are simply operating on an outdated map of how income works. Here is the reframe that changes everything. Stop asking what job is safe from AI. Start asking what type of income is structurally impossible for AI to replace. AI can automate the delivery of knowledge. It cannot own the trust someone has in you. It cannot hold real estate. It cannot represent your lived experience in a community that identifies with your specific story. The mental shift is from being a producer of labor to being an owner of systems that produce value. Once you see income through that lens, every financial decision you make looks completely different. The first income stream that will survive is audience ownership. Building a body of content, written, audio, or video, around a specific and genuine area of experience creates a compounding asset that pays you back over time in ways a salary never can. A salary stops the moment you stop showing up. An audience keeps growing while you sleep. This is not about going viral or chasing trends. It is about consistently documenting what you know, what you have lived, and what problems you have solved in a way that attracts the specific people who share that context. AI can generate content. It cannot generate your credibility. The second income stream that survives is ownership of real assets, physical or digital property that generates cash flow independent of your daily effort. Real estate remains one of the most powerful because AI cannot move a building, and humans will always need physical space. But this extends to digital products, licensing deals, software tools, and fractional ownership platforms that now allow ordinary people to buy stakes in income-generating assets with amounts as low as a few $100s. The principle is the same across all of them. You are not selling time. You are deploying capital, and capital works even when you do not. The third income stream, and possibly the most underestimated, is high-trust relationship capital. AI can analyze data. It cannot sit across from a grieving family and know exactly what to say. It cannot be the person that a small business owner calls at 2 a.m. when everything is falling apart. The highest-earning professionals of the next decade will not be the most technically skilled. They will be the ones who combine genuine domain knowledge with irreplaceable human presence. Consulting, coaching, brokerage, therapy, leadership, any field where people pay specifically because they want to work with a human being who they personally trust. The most common mistake people make when they hear this is they try to do all 5 income streams at once, and they build none of them properly. They sign up for courses, start 3 different social media accounts, open a brokerage account they never fund, and 6 months later have made no meaningful progress on any front. The second mistake is waiting for certainty before starting. There is no version of this where the timing feels perfect. The people who built substantial alternative income in the past decade did not have a complete plan. They had a starting point and the discipline to keep moving from it. Paralysis is the luxury you cannot afford right now. Here is what you actually do, starting this week. First, in the next 7 days, audit your current income. Write down what percentage of it disappears if you stop working. If the answer is close to 100%, you have identified your urgent problem. Second, in the next 30 days, choose one of the 5 income streams, not all 5, and take one concrete action toward it every single day without missing. Third, by the end of 90 days, you need something that has produced at least $1 outside your primary job. Not because the dollar matters, because breaking the zero is a psychological event that changes how you think about what is possible permanently. Here's a question worth sitting with. If your employer announced tomorrow that your entire role was being replaced by an AI system in 18 months and you would receive a generous severance, what would you build with that time? The fact that most people find that question terrifying rather than exciting is itself the answer to why so few people ever escape dependency on a single income source. The uncomfortable truth is that the window to build a second income before the disruption hits is not infinite. For some industries, it is already closing. So the real question is not whether AI will change your financial life. It is whether that change will happen to you or because of you.